From Ticker News with Aaron Young, this is Ticker Today.
Hello, thanks so much for joining me. Donald Trump is pinning the blame for the US economy's first quarter contraction in 2025 on former President Joe Biden, and he's signaling a repeat for the upcoming quarter as well. Coming up today, Donald Trump arguing the GDP decline is a direct result of Biden-era policies, highlighting the effect of reduced government spending on economic performance. Also today, Elon Musk is pulling back from his hands-on role at the White House after spending President Trump's first 100 days as a key advisor. In Victoria, a high-profile trial underway as Erin Patterson stands accused of fatally poisoning her former in-laws during a July 2023 lunch. With the Australian election now just days away, Peter Dutton's campaign is faltering amid fresh polling that spells trouble for the Liberals. And on the markets, Wall Street surged in late trade, with stocks bouncing back strongly, even as fears grow over Donald Trump's escalating trade dispute. You are watching Ticker Today, the latest news and business moving the world. Let's get started. First today, the US economy experienced a contraction of 0.3% in the first quarter of 2025, falling short of anticipated growth. Businesses rushed to import goods before significant tariffs took effect, leading to the largest quarterly drag from net exports recorded since 1947. While consumer spending grew at a slower pace, investments in equipment and inventory showed some positive signs. Concerns over tariffs causing uncertainty among consumers and complicating planning for major corporations. And Donald Trump placing the blame for the US economy's contraction in the first quarter of 2025 squarely on his predecessor, former President Joe Biden, hinting that he will do the same for the second quarter. Trump claimed that the negative GDP reflects Biden's policies and noted that government spending cuts have impacted the economy. Private payrolls saw a disappointing rise of just 62,000 in April, the lowest since July 2024. The president blaming Joe Biden for the bad numbers.
You probably saw some numbers today, and I have to start off by saying that's Biden. That's not Trump, because we came in on January, this is the quarterly numbers, and we came in and I was very against everything that Biden was doing in terms of the economy, destroying our country in so many ways. Not only at the border was more obvious, but we took over his mess in so many different ways. We have more money being spent than at any time in the history of our country. We're up to close to $8 trillion, I think I can say. And really, it's going to be a lot higher than that. Those are just the ones that we know about. 8 trillion. I'm not going to say, but I'm not sure if Biden did $1 trillion for 4 years, 1 trillion. But we're at 8 trillion for 2 months, because let's give us a pass on the first month.
Meanwhile, Elon Musk is stepping back from his daily role at the White House, having spent the first 100 days closely advising President Trump. The billionaire's departure from the government Department of Efficiency comes as he returns to focus more on his Tesla responsibilities. Although not physically present, Musk's team will continue to drive initiatives forward, according to the Chief of Staff, Susie Wiles. Here's the President farewelling him in the Cabinet room.
But you have been treated unfairly, but the vast majority of people in this country really respect and appreciate you, and this whole room can say that very strongly. You've really been a tremendous help. You opened up a lot of eyes as to what could be done, and we just want to thank you very much. And you know, you're invited to stay as long as you want. At some point, I guess he wants to get back home to his cars and his done an incredible job.
All right, now new export orders have dropped sharply in China, plunging to the lowest levels since the pandemic as steep US tariffs take their toll. Manufacturing activity in China now also at its weakest in over a year, raising concerns about the impact of President Trump's trade policies. The plunge in export orders indicates a potential slowdown in trade between the US and China, with many importers delaying or cancelling their orders. While Beijing remains defiant in the face of US pressure, the economic outlook appears bleak, prompting the Chinese government to consider boosting domestic spending to counteract the drop in trade. The Kremlin announcing that President Putin is willing to engage in peace talks regarding Ukraine, but warns against hasty agreements. Despite ongoing discussions with the United States, officials suggest that achieving swift results is challenging due to the complexity of the conflict. The Ukrainian foreign minister now responding positively, stating that Ukraine is ready for peace talks contingent on an unconditional ceasefire from Moscow. Putin, while open to the negotiations, says that crucial issues must first be resolved before any ceasefire can be established. To the major trial unfolding in Victoria, Erin Patterson faces serious charges of poisoning her estranged husband's family during a lunch gathering in July 2023. Prosecutors claim Ms Patterson served a meal on differently coloured plates, with her guests experiencing severe illness shortly after consuming the food. The court also heard that 3 of the 4 guests tragically died, while the only survivor had nearly succumbed to the effects. Ms Patterson has pleaded not guilty, maintaining the incident was a tragic accident involving poisonous mushrooms. The trial continues to reveal unsettling details as both sides now present their cases to the jury. With just days to go until the Australian election, opposition leader Peter Dutton's campaign is facing serious challenges as new polls reveal a troubling trend for the coalition. In a surprising endorsement, Tiger King Joe Exotic has thrown his support behind the Prime Minister, denying claims he's being paid to do so. Despite leading in the polls 2 months ago, the coalition has now slipped behind Labor in the latest major national poll before Election Day. Polls also indicating Anthony Albanese will form government, probably a majority, this weekend. The Wall Street rebound gained momentum as stocks staged a strong late-day recovery despite growing concerns over Donald Trump's trade war impacting the US economy. Here's how things look. The S&P 500, facing a 2% decline, bounced back for the first time since 2022, boosted by optimism over trade talks and proactive communication from the US to China. Some investors anticipating action from the Fed Reserve to prevent a recession, with weak economic data potentially prompting rate cuts. The month saw historic volatility, but the S&P 500 managing to recover some of its losses after nearly entering a bear market.